This is the story of Gaius Julius Caesar, the man who transformed Rome and changed the course of Western civilization forever. He was called a tyrant by his enemies and a god by his supporters. He conquered vast territories, yet met his end surrounded by friends wielding daggers. His name became synonymous with absolute power, yet he claimed to fight for the common people. Julius Caesar was born on July 12th or 13th, 100 before Common Era, into a world of political turmoil and social upheaval. The Roman Republic, which had endured for over 4 centuries, was tearing itself apart. Powerful generals commanded armies more loyal to them than to Rome itself. The gap between wealthy aristocrats and struggling citizens grew wider each year. Into this volatile world stepped a young patrician who would exploit these tensions to rise to unprecedented heights. Caesar's family claimed descent from the goddess Venus herself, but they weren't particularly wealthy or influential. His father died when Caesar was just 16, forcing the young man to navigate Rome's treacherous political waters alone. His early years were marked by a crucial decision that revealed his character. The dictator Sulla ordered Caesar to divorce his wife Cornelia for political reasons. Caesar refused outright, risking his life rather than abandon her. He fled Rome and lived in hiding until Sulla's death. This early defiance showed the world that Caesar would never bend to threats. When Caesar returned to Rome, he began his political ascent through a combination of charm, ambition, and calculated risk-taking. He borrowed enormous sums of money to fund lavish public games and festivals. The common people adored him for the entertainment, while he built a network of political allies. He was captured by pirates during a trip to Rhodes in 75 before Common Era. Rather than cowering in fear, Caesar told his captors they'd demanded too low a ransom. He joked with them, wrote poetry, and promised he'd return to crucify them all. Once freed, he did exactly that, though he mercifully had them killed before crucifixion. This incident perfectly captures Caesar's audacity and his tendency to keep his promises, no matter how extreme. Caesar's first major achievement came through his military brilliance in Gaul, modern-day France and Belgium. In 58 before Common Era, he embarked on a campaign that would last nearly a decade. He wasn't just conquering territory, he was creating a professional army absolutely devoted to him personally. His soldiers knew that Caesar shared their hardships, sleeping in military camps and eating soldiers' rations. He learned every centurion's name and rewarded loyalty generously. Through a series of stunning military victories, Caesar added vast territories to Rome's domain. He crossed the Rhine River into Germanic lands, becoming the first Roman general to do so. He even launched expeditions to Britain in 55 and 54 before Common Era, bringing Roman influence to an island shrouded in mystery. The Gallic Wars showcased Caesar's tactical genius and his ability to turn desperate situations into victories. At the Battle of Alesia in 52 before Common Era, he faced seemingly impossible odds. The Gallic chieftain Vercingetorix had fortified himself in the hilltop town with 80,000 warriors. Caesar built elaborate siege works to trap them inside. Then a Gallic relief force of over 200,000 warriors arrived to break the siege. Caesar found himself trapped between 2 massive armies. Most commanders would have retreated. Caesar instead built a second set of fortifications facing outward. His 60,000 legionaries fought on 2 fronts simultaneously and won. This victory broke Gallic resistance and cemented Caesar's reputation as Rome's greatest living general. But Caesar's success created enemies back in Rome. The Senate, led by conservatives like Cato and supported by Pompey, Caesar's former ally, demanded he disband his army and return as a private citizen. They planned to prosecute him for alleged crimes committed during his consulship. Caesar knew that without his army's protection, his enemies would destroy him. He faced an impossible choice: obey the Senate and face certain political death, or defy Rome's most sacred laws. On January 10th, 49 before Common Era, Caesar stood at the Rubicon River, the boundary between Gaul and Italy. Roman law forbade any general from crossing this boundary with an army. To cross meant civil war. To turn back meant surrendering everything he'd built. Caesar reportedly said the words that echo through history: "The die is cast." He led his loyal 13th Legion across the river, plunging Rome into civil war. This decision transformed him from successful general to revolutionary figure. The civil war that followed showcased Caesar's military superiority and his surprising clemency. Unlike previous Roman civil wars marked by massacres and proscriptions, Caesar pardoned most opponents who surrendered. He defeated Pompey's forces at the Battle of Pharsalus in 48 before Common Era, though he wept at the sight of dead Roman citizens. Pompey fled to Egypt, where the young pharaoh Ptolemy XIII had him murdered, hoping to win Caesar's favor. When Caesar arrived in Alexandria and was presented with Pompey's severed head, he reportedly turned away in disgust and ordered a proper burial for his former friend and son-in-law. In Egypt, Caesar met Cleopatra VII, one of history's most fascinating figures. She was embroiled in a civil war with her brother Ptolemy. Legend says she had herself rolled up in a carpet and smuggled into Caesar's quarters. Whether true or not, Caesar was captivated by her intelligence, charm, and political acumen. Their relationship produced a son, Caesarion, and strengthened Rome's position in Egypt. This affair revealed a lesser-known side of Caesar. Despite his political calculations, he was capable of genuine passion and partnership. Enjoying the video? Please support the channel by subscribing. By 46 before Common Era, Caesar had defeated all his major opponents and returned to Rome as undisputed master of the Roman world. He was appointed dictator, initially for 10 years, then for life in 44 before Common Era. But Caesar wasn't interested in merely holding power. He launched an ambitious program of reforms that addressed Rome's fundamental problems. He reformed the calendar, creating the Julian calendar with 365 days and a leap year, which formed the basis for our modern calendar. He extended Roman citizenship to people in the provinces, recognizing that Rome's strength came from inclusion, not exclusion. He initiated massive public works projects that employed thousands of poor Romans. He reformed the Senate, adding representatives from throughout the empire. Caesar famously declared, "I came, I saw, I conquered," after a swift military victory, but this quote reveals more than military prowess. It shows his confidence, his directness, and his ability to communicate complex achievements simply. Another revealing quote comes from Plutarch, who recorded Caesar saying he'd rather be first in a small village than second in Rome. But Caesar's reforms and his accumulation of honors alarmed traditionalists who saw him destroying the republic they cherished. He accepted the title of Dictator Perpetuo, dictator in perpetuity. Statues of him appeared throughout Rome. Some senators proposed making him king, though he publicly refused this title. Romans had expelled their last king 5 centuries earlier, and the very word rex carried revolutionary implications. Whether Caesar actually wanted to be king remains debated, but his enemies believed he did. A conspiracy formed among senators who claimed to be defending republican liberty. Led by Brutus and Cassius, about 60 senators plotted Caesar's assassination. Brutus was particularly significant because Caesar had treated him like a son. Some ancient sources even suggested Brutus might have been Caesar's biological son through an affair with Brutus's mother. On March 15th, 44 before Common Era, the Ides of March, the conspirators struck. They surrounded Caesar in the Senate and stabbed him 23 times. According to legend, when Caesar saw Brutus among his attackers, he said in Greek, "You too, child?" Though Shakespeare's version, "Et tu, Brute," became more famous. He pulled his toga over his head and died at the base of Pompey's statue. The conspirators claimed they'd saved the Republic, but they'd actually doomed it. Caesar's death triggered another round of civil wars. His great-nephew and adopted heir, Octavian, eventually defeated all rivals and became Augustus, Rome's first emperor. The Republic the assassins died to preserve never returned. Instead, the Roman Empire they feared emerged stronger than ever, lasting another 5 centuries in the west and 15 centuries in the east. Caesar's legacy extends far beyond ancient Rome. His name became the word for emperor in multiple languages: Kaiser in German, Tsar in Russian. The month of July bears his name. His military commentaries on the Gallic Wars remain studied in military academies today. His political tactics, both brilliant and ruthless, influenced leaders from Napoleon to modern politicians. Modern historians debate whether Caesar was a visionary reformer or an ambitious tyrant. He certainly concentrated unprecedented power in his own hands, setting a precedent that ended republican government. Yet he also addressed real problems that the Senate had ignored for generations. He extended rights and citizenship beyond Rome's traditional boundaries. He showed that effective government sometimes required strong individual leadership. These tensions between liberty and security, between tradition and reform, between republican ideals and effective governance remain relevant today. Julius Caesar lived just 55 years, but he packed more achievement, drama, and historical significance into that time than most people could in several lifetimes. He conquered vast territories, reformed Roman society, loved passionately, and died violently. He claimed to fight for the people while accumulating personal power. He showed mercy to defeated enemies, but ruthlessly eliminated threats. He was brilliant, ambitious, charismatic, and dangerous. The world he left behind looked nothing like the one he entered. Whether that change was for better or worse, we're still debating 2,000 years later. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for more.